Imagine lying flat in the darkness, your face inches from the waterlogged earth of a Western Front trench. The year is 1916. The air reeks of wet wool and cordite. Somewhere beyond the wire, a German sentry scans no man's land. You do not move, and across your face, smeared in thick grey-brown mud, is the oldest camouflage in human history. This episode goes beyond the history books, into the desperate ingenuity of men who survived not with modern gear, but with wit, earth, and instinct. The human face is a beacon. Its pale oval catches light, reflects sun, and announces your presence to any watchful eye. World War I soldiers understood this viscerally, often after witnessing a comrade shot by a sniper who had spotted the gleam of exposed skin above the parapet. Before a nighttime raid, men would scoop grey-brown earth from the trench walls and smear it across every exposed surface: forehead, cheeks, hands, the back of the neck. It broke up the symmetry of the face, eliminated the shine of skin oil, and collapsed a man's outline into the landscape. Snipers on both sides were trained to look for glint and silhouette. Mud neutralized both. No identifiable faces. Frontline trenches were roughly 7 feet deep, dug in zigzags to limit blast damage, shored with sandbags and wicker revetments, fighting a constant battle against the Belgian clay. Water was the enemy that never fired a gun. Trench foot, the rotting of flesh from prolonged cold immersion, crippled hundreds of thousands. Soldiers responded with improvisation: whale oil rubbed into skin, dry socks kept warm against the body, feet elevated on ammunition boxes during rest. These were not official directives. They were survival innovations passed mouth to ear along the line. Dugouts carved into trench walls became genuine subterranean rooms, reinforced with timber and corrugated iron, insulated with ground sheets and sandbags stuffed with straw. Men slept pressed together in rotation, sharing body heat as deliberately as any bushcrafter managing a fire. Food arrived cold and mud-flecked after dangerous nighttime ration runs. Soldiers fashioned small stoves from bully beef tins, the forerunner of the modern hobo stove, heating water for tea with minimal smoke to avoid drawing sniper fire. Water from shell craters was invariably contaminated. Purification tablets existed but were distrusted. The lesson was paid for in dysentery. In contaminated ground, no surface water is safe without treatment. The trench raid was the war's purest expression of fieldcraft under pressure. Small groups crossed no man's land after midnight to capture prisoners or strike enemy positions, hunting in its most primal form. Preparation was meticulous. Faces blackened, equipment taped to prevent rattling, boots wrapped in sacking for silence, routes memorized by daylight crawl. Communication during the raid was by touch and pre-agreed signal. These are principles every serious tracker and wilderness traveler will recognize. Move slowly, use dead ground. Trust peripheral vision in darkness. These soldiers had no night vision gear or GPS. They had trained awareness and mud on their faces, and it was often enough. The men of the Western Front were not superhuman. They were farmers, clerks, and students handed a rifle and thrown into industrial slaughter. What they built in response: mud camouflage, improvised heat, water discipline, morale maintained through ritual and dark humor, was not issued to them. It was won through necessity and shared between men. Every technique still works. The physics of camouflage have not changed. The body still loses heat fastest from the extremities. Morale in a sustained hardship still requires active investment. When you smear mud across your face before a stalk, insulate your kit from frozen ground, or keep a dry pair of socks against your skin, you're drawing from the same well these men dug into over a century ago. The tools change, the principles do not. Subscribe to Fieldcraft Chronicles. If this episode moved you, hit subscribe and share it with every history lover, bushcrafter, and quietly curious person you know. This knowledge deserves to survive. See you out there.